After all the Stan Lee cameos in the MCU movies, we have come to a consensus that Stan Lee is indeed playing a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that these cameos are not just funny scenes. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that Stan Lee is a character that you may not know, and stick around if you want to know more about this. Alright, so in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we have had various important events going on all throughout the timeline. We had the invention of the Pym particles, the invention of the arc reactor, and then the Civil War, and then the events of Infinity War and Endgame with all the Infinity Snaps. We have just so many events. And if you pick one event, which is Civil War, in Civil War, we saw Stan Lee as a FedEx delivery guy who comes to give Tony Stark Steve Rogers' letter, so this means that he was delivering something. But don't you think that this is a coincidence that whenever such events are occurring, Stan Lee is always there? So what if I told you that Stan Lee came as a Federal Express delivery guy just to observe what happened to see how the Avengers are currently broken up? Let me elucidate as to what I mean. In the comics, we have certain characters known as the Watcher. Namely, we have one character called Uatu the Watcher. Now, the Watchers have taken an oath that all they have to do is observe and record all the events that take place in the multiverse and not interfere in them. So they must not interfere with whatever happens, and they just must observe it. Maybe this is exactly why we saw Stan Lee in all these important events and he didn't interfere in them. Maybe he slightly interfered in it, but not a lot. So since we have seen him in these events, could it be possible that he's actually the Watcher? We have one more thing that will support this evidence very strongly, and that is in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we see Stan Lee in a spacesuit explaining some past things to these other guys who are none other than the Watchers. He says that at one time he was a Federal Express delivery guy, which is a reference to Civil War. Is this just a joke that Marvel is taunting at us? Well, I don't think so. Don't you think that these cameos are now interconnected after this dialogue given by Stan Lee? So the way he says, "Before I was rudely interrupted," it seems as though Stan Lee was keenly reporting something to these Watchers back from what happened in the past events. What if Stan Lee was actually recording all these events and then reporting it to the Watchers, and that this scene was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? There is a high possibility that this could be true. So what do you guys think? Do you think Stan Lee is actually the Watcher and is recording all the events and is reporting it to the Watchers? Or do you think that these cameos are just to make us all laugh? And if you guys enjoy short daily uploads that's giving you answers as quick as possible, then consider subscribing by going for the head, and after click on either of the videos to continue watching. I still believe in superheroes.